How's it going, everyone? Today we'll be playing this Gamora protection deck against the Spider-Woman scenario on heroic difficulty. This may be a bit of a surprise if you've been following my heroic challenge, where I'm trying to beat every scenario in the game on heroic using a different hero, because I have already recorded a win against Spider-Woman with Hulkling. I did that right after Civil War came out. There's a couple of reasons that I wanted to sort of redo this matchup using Gamora as my hero to get that win instead. So for one thing, Hulkling is very overmatched to Spider-Woman. Hulkling is a very, very strong hero, and Spider-Woman is an incredibly easy scenario. So I have the opportunity to now get Hulkling back to use against a different scenario in my challenge. And in fact, now that we've seen all of the cards in the She-Hulk scenario from Synthezoid SmackDown, I think a Hulkling deck will have a really fun matchup against She-Hulk, which looks to be pretty tough, to be honest. But I think Hulkling can do an interesting thing against her, building around the imitation form and preventing her from getting her attacks off. This also gives me an opportunity to play Gamora, someone who I wasn't planning to play throughout my challenge, not because she's not a good hero at all, but just as I lined up my remaining games, there wasn't really a matchup that I thought she exploited any better than any different hero. But I'm glad to get this opportunity to showcase how I play her on the channel today. So protection is kind of nice for Gamora. One thing is I really like Jocasta with Gamora. So cross counter is this really powerful attack, defense, and thwart that Gamora has. 2 ER for what is effectively prevent 3 damage, deal 2 damage, and remove 2 threat from a scheme. So Jocasta, to buy that back in additional time, is really nice. Also, because Gamora has this ability to play attacks and thwarts from different aspects, she can compensate for some of the deficiencies of protection by including some of the good thwarting events and getting some confusing, which protection doesn't really have access to. So that allows her to make a more well-rounded protection deck than most heroes can. So one of the key things with Gamora is we want to have a pretty high density of those attacks and thwarts. Helps us be pretty likely to draw cards with Gamora's Alter Ego action ability. It also makes sure we have something we can spend Keen Instincts resources on every turn of the game. Keen Instincts is a really, really strong resource generator, only costing 1 and making a resource for any attack or thwart event. So if we just look there, we've got kind of these 10 that Gamora starts with, and then I've added 9 more. 3 Momentum Shift, kind of just, I was looking for one more like generic attack to get in there. So you could maybe play a Hard Knocks, you could maybe, okay, no other examples are coming to mind, which is kind of embarrassing, but I think Momentum Shift is just solid, good value, like heal a little bit, deal a little damage. It's a 2-cost protection event, which means I can justify the power of protection a little bit. But then in the 6 that we brought in, we've got 3 Clear the Area, which is just really efficient. Generally, it's going to be 2 threat removed for 1 ER whenever we play it. Gamora also really likes those events that are just on the cheap side. So Clear the Area lets us thwart early and then possibly power up Decisive Blow, or it's just cheap enough that we can do a thwart and attack in the same turn to use both of Gamora's hero responses. Clear the Area, it's also perfect because it's like an effective 1 ER cost, but it still costs a resource, so Keen Instincts can pay for it. So Clear the Area is just a really top-notch card with Gamora. 2 Concussive Blow, so giving us that confusion. Gamora is someone who does like flipping down. She's got the Conditioning Room, that Alter Ego draw ability. So confusing is pretty nice to do here. And then Cut Upper from Pool, just kind of like Concussive Blow. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure that it is better than another Concussive Blow, but it deals a little bit more damage and stuns. Nice tool to have if, for example, we're playing Nebula. Like we could choose, where's Nebula? We can choose to draw, either Cut Upper or Concussive Blow depending on the situation. So, plus it makes the deck a little bit more colorful. Pretty staple allies here. Sorry about that. Nick, Mockingbird, Professor X, Rocket, of course, just a complete powerhouse with the Guardians. I'm trying to think now actually, because I've recorded several videos ahead, including some Guardians matchups. Is this the first Guardian I'm actually showing? Oh, I know I've played some Adam Warlock games. But yeah, I guess we're getting into the Guardians Most Wanted, or Galaxy's Most Wanted. The Guardians wave is the last wave I'm planning to post for my channel. So we get to bring out Some of the Guardian toys, Rocket being really the main one, attacking minions for 4, which is just absurd. And then Nowhere to get some more draw. Nowhere is really, I wouldn't play Nowhere if I didn't have Starhawk, who can bounce himself to hand pretty much every turn, as a way to trigger Nowhere a lot. Overall, I'm not playing too many Guardians. I'm only playing 3. So Nowhere is maybe not the best here, but I was looking for like one more resource generator to fill out the deck with, and I think Nowhere will be all right. Increasing the ally limit can also easily be relevant too. Hidden Base, just a staple. Night Nurse is a staple, but also call out Night Nurse here for being really, really good against Spider-Woman. Spider-Woman has quite a few ways to stun and confuse us. Ready for a fight. I'm doing just the one here, which is Advanced Protection. So some heroes, like we really abuse Ready for a Fight, the heroes that want to be defending in hero form during the villain phase, but also have other stuff to do in alter ego form. Not really the case for Gamora here. We might pop Ready for a Fight, like do the thing where if we draw our 6-card hand, we see that we drew a cross counter. It's like, okay, I want a chance to be able to play that, so I'll Ready for a Fight back to hero form so I can play my cross counter. But in general, I'm only playing one kind of for that niche purpose and to keep an advance from ending the game. And we talked about all these, so 19 of those in total, so just under half the deck. So we're drawing half a card every time we use Gamora's alter ego ability. Got the doubles, got the power-ofs, and 8 allies. Daredevil, I don't think I mentioned Daredevil, but right, just a good thwarting ally and protection. So that's what we've got with the deck. I'm not going to do a Spider-Woman breakdown here. You can go check out my Hulkling versus Spider-Woman video if you want to see that. But with that, let's dive into the game. Not too much to do in the setup here. We've got Self-Propelled Glide put into play. And then the Finesse attachment attached to Spider-Woman, which will get a Treachery, we'll get a skill counter whenever we reveal a Treachery, which will later buff Spider-Woman whenever she attacks. Let's look at the opening hand. Okay, Keen Instincts is an easy keep. I actually don't mind keeping Concussive Blow as well. Confuse is really nice. And it's an attack event, so I can clear Self-Propelled Glide with Gamora's ability plus a basic activation. Ready for a Fight's not really a turn 1 play, so we can try to look for something better. I could maybe keep this Power of Protection, because obviously it's good if I do draw something I can spend it on, but I'm going to mulligan it. Ooh, Conditioning Room is great. Oh, got to remember to slightly pay attention to the order I discard things in to optimize that. Okay, let's do Gamora's ability. Top card of the deck is a cross counter, which I'm inclined to stick under Jocasta right away. But now I'm trying to play too many things. Let's pay 1 for Conditioning Room, activate it, get a Momentum Shift back to hand. Not to play here, but just to use as a resource. So I could just play Jocasta and Keen Instincts. Keep myself relatively safe. Or I could do Keen Instincts, thwart, clear the area, and then Jocasta. Oh, duh, well, that bit is obviously better. Yeah, that's going to be it for sure. Flip, pay 1 for Keen Instincts, thwart Self-Propelled Glide for 2, clear the area to finish it. Draw a card. After we play a thwart event, 1 damage to Spider-Woman. We did draw a Power of Protection, which I can use on Jocasta. So let's maybe keep that Concussive Blow in hand. Might help me buy a flip down next turn. Let's pay 3 here for Jocasta. Get cross counter under her. No need to activate her yet. Wait till we got something we need to clear. End the turn. Excellent turn 1, excellent. 2 of our 1-cost resource generators into play. And a 3rd coming on turn 2. 1 threat on the main scheme in step 1. Spider-Woman attacks, we'll take it and plan to cross counter here, probably. Even if I cross counter it, I can still go Keen Instinct, Concussive Blow as my turn. It's not like the best cross counter ever, because I don't have a minion to deal the damage to. I don't have extra threat to remove somewhere. Well, let's see what the boost card is first. Attack comes in for 2, plus a boost of 2. I think I'm going to take the 4. So having some sustained damage is okay, because Conditioning Room's going to heal us anyways. I think cross counter might be a little better later. I'm going to take the full 4. 2 encounter cards. Tangled Up prevents an attack or scheme. Protect the Innocent. Give the enemy leader and each minion a tough status card. If the enemy leader was already tough, this gains Surge. Alright, a complete nothing burger of an encounter card there. It is a treachery, so it'll add a skill counter and a threat to the main scheme. Alright, let's have Jocasta attack the tough off. We will attempt to thwart, discard Tangled Up. Pay 1 for Keen Instincts. Pay 1, 2, 3 for Concussive Blow. 3 damage, since we can use a Keen Instincts to make a physical, and Confuse. So now if we draw off Gamora's ability, we'll get to play Nowhere. Flip down Gamora's ability. Rocket. Not really a need to Conditioning Room right now, unless I want to dig faster to whatever's next. Well, I want to heal anyways, so yeah, we'll Conditioning Room. But I think I'm just going to discard that end of turn. Whoops, I'm not at 16, I'm at 6. Heal up to 7. Discard this end of turn. I'll keep Nowhere in hand. It's a good setup card to keep things rolling. Fantastic hand. 1 threat on the main scheme. Spider-Woman Confused. 2 encounter cards. Cloak and Dagger, and then a Light Force. That's going to heal 3 from the enemy leader, and then we take 3 indirect damage. Cross counter is hero interrupt only. Looking at my thwarting capabilities for this Cloak and Dagger, I'd probably thwart it with Rocket this turn. Well, the only question is if I put 1 damage on Jocasta. But I think no. This should put a thing here. Right, because, yeah, protect the innocent gave her 1. Then we flip down, yeah. And that triggers a threat on the main scheme as well. I'm going to have Jocasta take 1. I'll take 2. All right, Gamora's ability. Miss. Conditioning room. Heal 1. Momentum shift to hand. Yeah, I just, don't like a recover here. Flip to hero form. Two for nowhere. Three for rocket. Nowhere to draw. 1, 2, 3 for cut upper. 5 damage. Stun. Thwart cloak and dagger for 4. I'm going a little bit quickly. I think this is not the optimal order. Well, I just waste. I get a 1 threat removal from Gamora's thing, so we over thwart this a little bit, but that's okay. After we do that, Spider-Woman heals for 3 and gets tough. So I could have, since she was only at 1 sustained damage, I could have cleared that first, but then cut upper would have only knocked off the tough. So she'd be at 17 without a tough, as opposed to 14 with a tough. It's whatever. End the turn. Ooh, might be a chance to get the sword out. 1 threat on the main scheme up to 5. Spider-Woman stunned. 2 encounter cards. Cloak. When revealed, place 2 threat on a scheme. So that'll pop the main scheme. And then we go search the deck and discard pile for a side scheme. And then I'll have to remind myself of what all these do. So, probably not that. That's just 4 threat with an amplify. 4 threat with the heal 3 and tough that we just saw. Four threat, minions gain guard. Acceleration, probably not that. 4 threat, threat can't be removed while the defender is in play, but a hazard. The hazard's the worst thing to not be able to clear. Cloak and dagger at least does something, even if we clear it. I guess there's a chance this could be a defender. I guess, yeah, Grim Rule here, check if there's any defenders in the deck to see if the last card dealt is a defender. Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, I think that's all of them. I think just defend Hell's Kitchen. It's the one that most needs to be cleared in a single turn. And another Tangled Up. So I don't like that we popped the main scheme, but that was in exchange for being very well set up. So, and we should be able to survive on here. Threshold of 9 is pretty generous. Okay, Rocket attacks Cloak for 4. we will I don't know if I can fit in the sword here. We'll play Set the Pace to discard Tangled Up. Double Keen Instincts. No. First, Set the Pace, defend Hell's Kitchen, deal 1 damage to Spider-Woman, hit the tough. Double Keen Instincts for Momentum Shift, heal 2, deal 2. Gamora's ability, remove 1 threat off here, she'll thwart the remaining 2. If I flip down, I don't play around advance. We might not even lose to an advance though. And I get to get the sword in play, so I think that's going to be worth it. Flip down, look at the top. I always draw it when it doesn't matter. Conditioning Room. Get to clear the area back. Heal 1. Let's keep... I like Acrobat. I like the 0 cost cards, especially if we get stunned or something. Pay 3 for Gamora's sword. End the turn. One threat in step 1. Spider-Woman schemes 2 plus a boost of 0. 2 encounter cards. Shadow of the Past gives us a skill. Gives us Nebula and Sibling Rivalry. Yeah, good thing we got that before we played our own Nebula. Shuffle in some Waylays, which stun and confuse us. A card that blanks our text box. All right. And then the last card is going to be a Venom Blast, which is going to Surge. So advance can't even end the game here. We're already at max skill counters. We get Dagger. When revealed, heal 2 damage from the enemy leader. Heals up to 14. Deal 2 damage to a character you control. I'll just hit myself. Down to 7. So if I leave Sibling Rivalry in play, we'll get dealt a face down encounter card when the villain phase begins. So if I can clear that Nebula first, I can play my own Nebula and find whatever else I need. Let's Gamora's ability. Hey, Decisive Blow. That can probably clear Nebula. Conditioning Room, heal 1. Get forward momentum. And that can clear Sibling Rivalry pretty well. So the Gamora's Sword, whenever you play an attack event, deal 1 damage to an enemy. I think Night Nurse is a must-play in this scenario because of pheromones, and now especially that we shuffled the Waylades in. All right, flip to hero form. Let's have Rocket attack Nebula for 4. acrobatic move, 2 damage to dagger. Gamora's ability does 1 threat off the main scheme. Gamora's sword does 1 damage to Nebula. Pay 2 for my own Nebula. Search our deck for an attack or thwart event and add it to hand. A few options. Oh, I should be able to do both these clear the area. So let's get clear the area. Oh. Just peek at the rest of the deck since I'm going to be drawing cards. Yeah, one of these allies would be good to play as well. Pay 1, clear the area of the main scheme. Draw. Nick is awesome. I think that's my first thwart event. Yeah, this clear the area was last turn. So we'll do 1 damage to dagger. Although maybe I just have enough damage that I just throw a lot of damage her way. Oh, I didn't draw off nowhere. I might play Starhawk though, because if I go 2, for Starhawk, draw a replacement. Someone thwarts sibling rivalry. Keen instincts to clear the area for 2, draw a replacement. Eight, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's not quite enough. Well, I don't think Nick is actually that good right now. Because we know we've got Professor X, Mockingbird in the deck. Those are redundant with a blocker. I'm not going to have an ally slot left. There was another decisive blow in there, which would actually be good, I think. But I have to spend like the rest of my hand to do that. So I missed the nowhere, which is too bad. Otherwise, I might be able to advance this stage and play Night Nurse. I am going to thwart it for 2 with Gamora on Sibling Rivalry. Keen Instincts. Clear the area. Draw. I either play Starhawk or rip a massive forward momentum, or a decisive blow. I like the decisive blow, but let's definitely pay 1 for the Night Nurse. Could keep one of these in hand. Maybe I keep Nick in hand. We saw the 1 advance, still 1 advance left. Yeah, let's definitely do decisive blow, but let's do Nick. I'll keep Nick in hand. Pay 2 for decisive blow. Since we've got the sword, it'll be a total of 8 damage. Down to 6. And we'll sit with Nebula. Should be pretty easy to advance Spider-Woman next turn. Oh yeah, especially because you've got that other forward momentum. Draw through the deck. Didn't totally plan ahead this block, because Spider-Woman is attacking for the max, which makes me wish I would just ally block rather than cross counter. So that's definitely an oversight. I probably should have just played Nick. Well, I should have remembered to draw from nowhere is what I should have done. I also, if I were smart, I would have attacked with Nebula. Oh, sorry, that's not a decisive blow, that's a forward momentum. Should have attacked with Nebula because then I could actually flip this stage with only cross counters. I'm going to let myself cross counter though, especially if I get attacked again. I want Jocasta to be able to block without losing value. So unfortunately, it's a large attack. Attack for 5. Or sorry, 1 threat on the main scheme. Attack for 5, plus a boost of reveal this card. We'll pay 1 to cross counter. Cross counter is not even that good right now, but it's better than nothing. Prevent 3 of it. I'll take 2. 2 damage to Spider-Woman. 1 threat off the main scheme. 2 encounter cards for a total of 3. Spider-Man will get us a Tangled Up. The Defenders and Dark Force attach to the enemy leader and give them a tough status. After they scheme and place threat on the main scheme, remove an equal amount of threat from your leader's main scheme, discard this card. That part doesn't really matter. So just kind of just a +1 scheme until they scheme. But she's got a really big scheme now with Contaminant Immunity and Dark Force. Let's see what we've got. Well, it would be nice to play Nick, but then that's using the rest of my hand, which has stuff I like in there. But Nick is just a little too good. Let's pay 4 for Nick. Draw 3. Yikes. Well, obviously that looks bad now, but I guess I get 1 more draw here. So Gamora will thwart to remove Tangled Up. Spider-Man might be sitting in play a turn if I don't draw something relevant off Clear the Area. Yeah, because I need one of these to thwart the defenders, so Nick will thwart the defenders for 2. Keen Instincts. Clear the Area. Draw. All right, well, at least we have the right resource icon for that. Our ability will hit the tough off of Spider-Woman. Well, yeah. Pay the double physical for ready for a fight. Probably just keep this other double in hand. Nebula gets started on Spider-Man, attacking for 2. Flipping down's interesting. I've got the ready for a fight, but I think I just want that to be insurance. Oh, definitely not, because I'm not clearing Spider-Man, so definitely can't flip down here. Yeah, okay. End the turn. If I did flip down, I would basically let the first scheme happen, but then have ready for a fight ready for in advance. One thread on the main scheme is step 1. I think we're correct to have no skill counters there. Yeah, we drew all these attachments in Spider-Man, a side scheme. Spider-Woman attacks. It's a pretty small attack, so Nick block feels awkward, but might lose him otherwise. Nick blocks 2 plus a boost of you are stunned. Spider-Man attacks for 2. I'll take that. 2 encounter cards. Assault. So we'll put 1 on here to begin with. And we'll have Jocasta block. Gets bumped up to 3 plus 2. Inconspicuous. Spider-Woman schemes or discard the highest cost card you control. So it's not like discarding Gamora's sword is even that bad. If she schemes, we won't scheme out. No, I don't think that's worth it. We'll discard Gamora's sword. So an expensive inconspicuous, but just given the future of what's the impact of the sword versus the impact of another scheme, I think it's easy. It would get rid of Dark Force, and I'm going to get rid of Contaminant Immunity with Professor X this turn. You know what? I think that's wrong. I think we let her scheme. It's treachery, so we get 1 skill counter there. Yeah, we'll let her scheme for 4 plus a boost of attach this card to a minion engaged with you. Holy cow. Gives it plus 4 hit points in Stalwart. Well, that just got a lot harder to kill. The scheme happens for 4, so that will discard the Dark Force. Part of the thinking there is Professor X has a big thwart coming in that was going to go to waste, and now I can clear the area as well for a little extra draw. But now I've got a big old Spider-Man. We'll Night Nurse, heal 1, remove my stun. Okay, I think everything works out as long as the resources work out. Double Keen Instincts, Momentum Shift. Heal 2. 2 to Spider-Man. Gamora's sword does 1 more. Nope, okay, it's gonna work, but this is the wrong order. Take back momentum shift. I pay 3 for Professor X. Confuse Spider-Woman. When she would be stunned or confused, discard this card, give her a tough instead. Professor X thwarts for 3 on the main scheme. Keen Instincts. Clear the area of the main scheme. Draw. Gamora's ability, deal 1 to Spider-Man. Keen Instincts, +1 for momentum shift. Heal 2. Deal 2, deal 3 from the sword. Gamora attacks for 2 more. Takes out Spider-Man, who had a total of 8 hit points. And let's see here about flipping down. Still got that advance in the deck, but Spider-Woman's scheme is very small. It's worth 2, possibly 3 resources of value to do it. I can always pop ready for a fight on that advance. So I think I flip down. Let's just look at the top card, think about it. All right, we'll draw a momentum shift. Conditioning room to heal 1. Get a cross counter. I think I'll discard the cross counter end of turn at least. And I think the momentum shift as well. It's just a little bit weaker than I need. Also, yeah, attacks are going to be redundant because you can only deal 4 to her this stage. 1 threat on, schemes for 2 plus a boost of 0. 2 encounter cards. Jessica Jones, we're confused. Inconspicuous, we'll discard Professor X. Nice. Yeah, that's pretty lucky there, being able to discard Professor X. Gamora's ability, concussive blow on top. Conditioning room, heal 1. Get a cross counter back. Wish I had actually more to do here though. Given that, well, I would have a lot to do if I could keep damaging the next stage. Flip. Exhaust to remove confusion. Power of Protection, Starhawk, nowhere to draw. Hopefully something to do. It is not. Well, I'm going to play forward momentum because that clears the main scheme. Pay 2 for forward momentum. Clear the main scheme. Knock the tough off Spider-Woman. Acrobatic move. 2 damage to Jessica Jones. Gamora's sword finishes her off. Pay 3 for concussive blow. So that'll deal a total of 4 damage with the sword. Advance. 21. Encounter card. Can't take damage the rest of the phase. We'll keep cross counter in hand. Just do a skill counter check. Assault was the boost. These were the 2 encounter cards, so it should have 1 from that. Yeah. Keep cross counter in hand, and the turn. Okay, could use a little more to do with this hand, but it's all right. 1 threat on the main scheme. Spider-Woman attacks. We'll plan to cross counter here, so buffs up to 4. 4 plus a boost of 3 is 7. Keen Instincts to cross counter, preventing 3, take 4 down to 5. Remove 1 threat off the main scheme. We'll deal 1 damage from the effect of cross counter, 1 damage from Gamora's ability, and 1 damage from the sword. Two encounter cards for a total of 3. Exhaustion, skill counter. Surges into Master Plan, skill counter. Don't like how much of the deck I'm having to discard, since we were past a lot of the scary cards. I suppose whiffing completely is a nice consolation prize, though. So we go through the deck, acceleration. Daredevil, enemy team exhausts a character you control. I think the Grim Rule would be Nebula, because if I get attacked again, Starhawk is more awkward to block with. You can make basically the exact other case, though. If I don't get attacked, Nebula can't really activate, assuming I want her to block. So, really hard one to obey the Grim Rule with. It would easily be Gamora if I was not exhausted already. I think it's going to be Starhawk. I think it's more likely that I missed that chance to activate with him. Advance. There's none on the main scheme, so I don't think I need to ready for a fight this. Yeah. Schemes for 2, plus a boost of You Are Stunned. Pretty lackluster turn here. When I did the concussive blow, I'm gonna go back and give myself a confusion. She's just steady now, so it wouldn't have mattered there, but I'm gonna give it to myself there. Night Nurse. Heal 1, remove stun. Set the pace. 1 threat off the main scheme. So the tricky thing here, I could throw a huge decisive blow. Okay, now I'm definitely doing this. We'll do 1 to Daredevil. I'll have Nebula finish off Daredevil. So it loses her, but it lets me point this massive decisive blow at Spider-Woman. which at this stage in the game I think is worth it. Let's maybe keep the double in hand. Yeah. Power of protection plus keen instincts. For decisive blow, since we did set the pace, right, it's 7 damage. Sword makes it 8, so that brings her down to 10. I will flip down, I think. We've got a ready for a fight if we draw the other advance, which is kind of the perfect use case for it. So we'll flip down. I'm a little vulnerable on the hit point side too, so. Conditioning room to heal for 1. Get forward momentum. I kind of like that. That lets me get decisive blow next turn. Probably lets me win. Gamora to look at the top. It's rocket. There's a chance I keep this forward momentum in hand. If I somehow don't have the win, lets me keep the main scheme under a little bit of control. I'm going to keep it in hand and then the turn. Draw through the rest of the deck. Encounter card. Oh, shoot. Well, okay. Yeah, I guess I'm not conditioning rooming that decisive blow anymore. But I've got concussive blow, achromatic move, that's 5 damage. So I think I've got like exactly 10. Oh wait, Gamora's sword is adding damage as well. So I do have the damage here. But gotta see what else happens. 2 threat on the main scheme up to 3. I'm a little scared. I mean, I can get cheesed out here by cloak, adding 2 more threat. But I would still need to hit a boost of at least 2 here. How likely can I win if I lose? Okay, let's check the damage again. This is 5, 6, 7 damage. I can still win if Starhawk does a block for me. But I don't think I can win if I have to defend with Gamora. I could also get stunned and confused here, which makes me really not want to activate. All right, I think I roll the dice. Let her scheme for 2, plus a boost of 1. Nice. That puts me out of cloak range, so very happy about that. 2 encounter cards for a total of 3. Spider-Man will tangle me up. I can still win through that, though. Street Defender. Now we lose to Cloak. Spider-Man puts 2 threat on the main scheme. Waylay. Oh, this might be too much now. Well, I've still got the Night Nurse. I think it's fine. Because I don't need to thwart at all. So I think we got it. Do I have it? Well, stun and confuse. Gamora's ability for momentum. All right, now I probably definitely have it. Pay 2. Wait. Yeah, I need to get just 1 damage from an ally. Yeah. Pay 2 for Daredevil. Conditioning Room. Acrobatic move back. Yep. Flip. Night Nurse to remove my stun. Attack to remove Tangled Up. Acrobatic move for 3. Concussive Blow for 4. Daredevil and Starhawk attack for 3. All right, very close at the end. But I would have been cutting it close with my health too, though. And because I flipped down, like that gave me... Oh, I didn't even use my Keen Instincts. So I guess the resources wasn't really a question at all. I was going to say, because I flipped down, that gave me the resources to win when I then flipped back up. But I probably had enough. I did draw the 1 card from the top, 1 extra card from Conditioning Room, but then I ended with 2 excess resources. So it was just a question of which form I survived better in, and like an extra attack could have really hurt. So, all right, this is one that makes me nervous because I did exact C damage and we're 1 away from threat on the main scheme. So if I miss just 1 threat or did 1 extra damage somewhere, then it shouldn't be a valid game. But we'll watch it back and see if it should be. Let me know if you caught any mistakes, of course, like my wins to be as legitimate as possible for the sake of my challenge. But a nice showing by Gamora there. You know, Spider-Woman, nothing too difficult. The stunning, confusing interactions is really fun, I think, especially with Gamora's Nemesis set, having those waylays to stun and confuse me. A little bit of a nice axis to fight on that usually doesn't matter, because Gamora really wants to play her attacks and thwarts, right, to get her hero ability. But we've got to clear our stun and confuse first if we want to do that. All right, thanks for watching this rematch against Spider-Woman. Spider-Woman, you know, not the terribly interesting villain, but Gamora's pretty fun there. Kind of got to do the Jocasta cross counter thing. Was really happy with the concussive blows and clear the areas. I think that's a really solid choice of off aspect attacks and thwarts for a Gamora deck. Cut upper is fine as well. So there we go. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.